Joe Rogan has finally reacted to Tom Aspinall's latest eye injury update, and his comments have the MMA world completely divided. Some fans agree with Rogan's concern about fighter safety, while others believe Tom should have pushed through. Either way, Rogan's reaction has reignited the debate over whether the UFC is doing enough to protect its champions.
Does Dana White hate Tom Aspinall? Because in the post-match press conference, he was going at his heavyweight champion like he absolutely did not like him.
I mean, he had Tom bloodied up, and Tom didn't want to continue in the fight.
And a key word there is didn't. He didn't say Tom Aspinall couldn't continue, insinuating that he's a quitter.
I don't know if it's because Andy Aspinall's saying Tom wants to go to boxing and he'd love a big payday in boxing, but that's just Andy being a manager and a dad negotiating.
I'm going to be honest, I'll give Dana the benefit of the doubt. He could have easily just misspoke. And the fact that if you do watch the YouTube that Aspinall put out, Dana White's in the locker room before wishing him all luck. I'm sure he's on good terms with Tom Aspinall and his father, because Dana White, let's be honest, if he doesn't have Tom Aspinall, he doesn't have a heavyweight division. If you saw the other heavyweight fights that were on this UFC 321 card,
He won that round. Both those guys, for being heavyweight, can move so well on their feet. God, that was going to be such a sweet fight. And I thought Tom was going to go out there and kind of run through Ciryl. That was going to be a very interesting fight. I mean, I guess running it back makes sense. Post-fight reaction from Tom Aspinall. What the fuck you booing? I'm the one that got poked in the fucking eye. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm not the one that fucking poked him. I get it, you're frustrated. I don't think the fans weren't booing at Tom for not continuing. I don't think the fans are booing because, you know, it sucks. It's the main event. You want to see a fight. But every time like a first reaction happens, a nut shot, an eye poke, you don't think it's, all right, it's gonna get stopped. And when it does, it sucks. Oh God, I remember when the Pedro fight got stopped. It was in the second round, and I was feeling like I was just getting started. And you just see those guys heartbreak in there, just not being able to compete and do what they love to do. They put all this work in. I think you turn it around, immediate rematch.
Disappointed. I'm disappointed. I talked all day yesterday. Like, I just want to see Tom have to overcome some adversity. I want to see what he does when when his first plan of action doesn't work. What's he checked down to? Is he gonna wrestle? Can he compete with Ciryl Gane on his feet for 25 minutes? And I don't get any of those answers, and just like everybody at home, I'm disappointed.
Being poked in the eye is illegal, Brendan, but to fight with one eye is very common. The opponent's trying to hit your eye. He's trying to bust up and make your nose bleed. So that part of it does have question for guys like Anthony and I. We're trying to be polite. We're trying to show grace, but in all fairness, if you're the heavyweight champion of the world, you got to fight with one eye.
Some fans accuse Tom Aspinall of using the eye poke as an excuse, but Joe Rogan shut that down fast. On his podcast, he analyzed the footage frame by frame, showing how deep Gane's fingers went into Aspinall's eye, saying, "Anyone who thinks that wasn't serious has no idea how bad eye injuries can be."
Of course, it's been pretty interesting, all the stuff that John Jones has been saying to the media this week, and I'm sure there's more to come, but check out these.
A great athlete, but I do feel like he's a one-trick pony. I believe that his wrestling and jiu-jitsu is incredibly overrated. He has a beautiful 1-2. I got to learn a lot about his patterns in his last fight. That's really about it. That's the one thing that he's setting up real nice. He couldn't touch Ciryl Gane at all. That's the way I felt. I felt like Gane was just getting warmed up. Gane's hands was down. He was shaking his shoulders, bouncing around.
He was touching him. He was touching him. That jab, he busted him open.
He was so comfortable.
I think Tom was looking for a way out, and he took it. He needs to change his game.
And he won't fight me. And he says that he won't fight me because it's too much of a gamble.
Aspinall to me is no difference than an Owen St. Prude or Dominic Reyes or Anthony Smith. Be like just another up and comer that's exciting right now. And I'm not into gambling my legacy for what's exciting.
And John, if you're not into gambling your legacy, that to me sounds like you're scared of losing again.
Joe Rogan defended Tom Aspinall, saying no fighter fakes that kind of pain. Tom was clearly disoriented and couldn't see, and you can't fight blind. But Jones Sonnen disagreed, suggesting Tom might have taken the eye poke as a convenient way out since the round wasn't going his way. Sonnen's claim that Tom looked too calm after the foul has since ignited massive debate across the MMA world.
The UFC, Andy Aspinall was in the hospital with Tom and saying,
I think it would be useful to analyse the people who do it and get away with it in the fight, win the fight, and everybody forget that they're going to get poked in the eye. I just think it's unfair.
I feel like this going forward, as soon as someone gets poked in the eye, accident or not, it's a point deduction. Doesn't need to be a disqualification, but they need to be losing something on the scorecard. Jim Miller fought at UFC 100, 200, and 300, and he said,
unfortunately, we are probably going to see someone someone lose an eye in the octagon.
And then also, on top of that, it was knuckle deep. He was 2 fingers deep into Tom's eyes.
I could understand the booing a bit. They paid a lot of money for these tickets, have traveled many hours to get there. But anyone that's saying he was looking for a way out.
The eye. As a matter of fact, he was poked in both eyes. Now, I don't believe Ciryl did that on purpose. So, I also can't or am not mad at Ciryl, but I am mad. I'm looking for somebody to blame, but I don't quite know who to blame. Now, before we get to that, okay, there was a pretty interesting fight going on. The story going into this fight is Tom has the power to just go knock him out. We're not saying Tom's a better kickboxer. We get that Ciryl did that for many years of his life. We get that Ciryl had over 30 professional kickboxing bouts. But Tom, a little younger, a little bigger, shown to have a little bit better power if you just want to look at results, and has the ability to knock him out. However, if Tom tests that and doesn't knock him out, he'll just take him down and beat him up. I mean, this was the belief going in, guys. Tom was a 3.5 to 1 favorite. Tom told everybody that was willing to listen, I shouldn't be.
Fans quickly turned on Ciryl Sonnen, accusing him of disrespecting one of the sport's most honorable fighters. Joe Rogan fired back, reminding everyone that Tom Aspinall has never shown weakness or quit. This is a guy who fought through a torn knee, waited over a year for his comeback, and then got eye-poked twice by the same opponent, Rogan said. That's not quitting. That's pure bad luck.
As far as the crop and yeah, again, he's not even that active, but as far as active fighters, Tom's the best heavyweight we have to offer. That being said, I love Tom. I'm a big believer in Tom, but there are some holes in his game if you watch enough fighting. Even though he's starching everybody, he's not starching elite level guys. He's beating and demolishing guys that are offered to him, but the heavyweight division has never been weaker. So you're basically the king of the mediocre heavyweight division. But again, not his fault. But with saying that, it goes to show that Tom does have some issues in his game that at a certain level will get exposed. So if you bring up Tom's record, my issue for Tom is, so Tom's one of the most athletic. Gane might be the only more athletic heavyweight in the division, but Tom's fucking right up there. So Tom's big, he's fast, he's athletic. He has jiu-jitsu as far as we know.
I bet if he's weighing 215, he would fight Tom Aspinall better than him weighing 245 pounds. In his 205 frame, he could fight Tom Aspinall better than he'd fight him at that 250 because that's not his weight class. While he didn't last long with Ciryl, he didn't look as fast. He carried more weight. Ciryl just did some weird stuff. And John, you don't make mistakes against John.
Wouldn't it be interesting if Tom came out and said, no, I'm not going to rematch him. He's a cheater. Why would I rematch a guy that already cheated, that violated not one of my eyes, but both? I gave him his chance. He chose to cheat. I'm going to move on. If Tom took that stance, which he's not going to do, I'm saying, but for fun, I think he'd have a lot of people that supported him. For some reason, Ciryl has come out of this thing with his hands clean. He's the one that did the poking.
It was really bad how it looks. And he said, you can't train your eyeball to be stronger. It is what it is. His protection here and here, but he obviously got no protection because the fingers were straight in. The fight should have been stopped. He couldn't see. It was a foul. He couldn't see. Then you can't fight. You know, if he'd have got knocked out with a head kick next, then it would have been worse. I don't know. And then he said, sometimes when your eyes here like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that, and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us, and he's got to have a CT scan.
It was a significant eye poke. It wasn't like a little scratch.
Yeah.
It was, they went in. They were proper eye pokes, and Tom clearly was in a lot of pain. There's people saying online, well, he was saying multiple times, I can't see. If he wanted to continue, he shouldn't be saying that. The reality is, if he can't see,
Tell the truth.
If you can't see, you're allowed to say you can't see. People might point to me and say, well, you fought with one eye. Yeah, that was a secret because I shouldn't have been fighting. You know, Tom is the champion of the world. He doesn't want to go out there when his vision is impaired or vision is massively affected and potentially lose a fight that was shaping up to be a difficult fight. Ciryl Gane was on point tonight. He was looking good. We saw the damage on Tom's face. This was not an easy fight by any stretch of the imagination. He didn't want to continue with his vision damaged or not being able to see, so I don't blame him. The crowd were upset. I get that. They were frustrated. They've flown in from other countries. They've spent a lot of money. They've bought tickets, and the fight ends like that. I don't think the frustration was on Tom. I think the crowd was just annoyed at the...
Behind the scenes, Tom Aspinall's camp revealed that he still has limited vision in one eye and may need months to fully recover. Though Tom has stayed mostly silent, he admitted feeling frustrated and mentally exhausted. His father, Andy Aspinall, said the toughest part is watching people question his son's heart when all he's ever shown is courage and loyalty. Joe Rogan summed it up best. You can replace a belt, but you can't replace your eyesight. The MMA world remains divided. Some say Tom made the only safe choice. Others think he pulled back too soon. But one thing's certain. This moment will define his comeback. And when he returns, the entire world will be watching.